And we are in the game here, or in the Picks and Band lobby at least.
Alright, there we go. And it looks like the bans will still be glitched. That's even glitched on the LCS.
Yeah, it was even glitched on LCS. I think it's just a bug around. And Vi getting banned out. First ban. Obviously, she is a pretty strong champion. Not the strongest in my opinion, but she does have a lot of damage. She has her armor break. Armor seems to be a very important stat with team comps coming up right now. Haven't you noticed that?
Yeah, that's very true. And basically, the order kind of goes. Health became really popular, so AD carries became more popular with crit and especially stuff like Kog'Maw, who's got percentage health, and now people are going back to armor because AD carries are being powerful. And actually, we're seeing a Kayle ban. We've seen Kayle do some pretty amazing things last game, so I can see why they wouldn't want her in this game.
Yeah. Shen ban and Xin ban going out, obviously very strong picks right there. Good to see them both banned out. So we're going to get to see a slightly new champion pool coming out, some slightly new stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Shen is one of those champs that I still either see him picked or banned because he's just a very good split pusher. Now, we saw in the last game, in the very early game, he did get pretty far behind Kayle, and in which case Kayle was just able to out-split push him and out-bully him in lane really, really easily. But if Shen does get some of those kills and such, then she can be a really nice force. And the last ban, as I'm seeing in the client,
is Aurelia.
Yep.
Aurelia still needs that nerf. Still needs more nerfing. Aurelia will always forever be OP.
I don't see Aurelia being played too much. I haven't seen her in a really long time, actually. So interesting ban, in my opinion.
She's still always there. She's still strong. I love you too, Tibosaurus.
Seeing the Aurelia ban along with Xin Zhao and Kayle, I'm expecting the purple team to pick, sort of a hyper carry, AD carry, because they've banned out some of the pretty good divers, some of the people who can dive into the back line, and Aurelia is definitely a very strong assassin who gets tenacity for for the amount of enemies in a fight. She's also got a stun if she's at lower health, which generally if you're diving into a back line, you're going to have lower health than whoever it is you're fighting. And after that, she's just got a lot of burst damage and dashes to actually get into the back line. So pretty strong pick in that respect. Purple team not quite picking their AD carry yet. And at this point, AD carries are a bit higher priority than they were before, and I'm seeing people wait a bit longer to choose their AD carries. Apparently not for salad chicks, but because if an AD carry gets shut down, then there's a huge amount of damage from your team that's just not going to be there. And I think I figured out why salad chicks are choosing to get their AD carry out so soon is because they're running Caitlyn's Sona, and both of those champs are pretty high priority, I have to say. Now, Taric was already picked up, so we're not going to see purple team pick up the Sona, but Taric Caitlyn can still be a very good lane, and at this point, blue team has got a lot of poke, so purple team in their bot lane, they're going to have to find something to counteract some of that poke. They do have Taric, and that's going to help, but definitely want to see a champ that's not quite as squishy for the purple team. In fact,
not
there yet.
Just to answer the question in the chat, the last ban was Aurelia, and I was really hoping to see that Heimerdinger. You can't.
Were we all?
I don't think that he's actually been picked in a match. I think that summoners like to hover over him because I think he's one of the newer troll picks.
Yeah, it used to be Evelyn actually who was the big troll pick, but actually now it's Heimerdinger because Evelyn is pretty useful now. She's got some high amounts of burst and she's very snowbally, but the main reason we don't see too much in terms of Evelyn is because Evelyn is a champ that if she snowballs, she does really well. If she doesn't, she's not going to be doing too much in team fights. She really needs some of that early kills and gold in order to do that. And actually a Sivir pick for the purple team, so not quite a hyper carry AD carry, but that is a good split pushing champ too. So interesting, we're seeing purple team, they're going for Hecarim, which we saw last game. and Blue team is going for hard engage. Oh God, are they going for hard engage? Look at that team fight potential they have. Well, I'm assuming that they're going to lock in some of their picks. Still Cho'Gath, a very nice hard engage champ with a lot of AoE and team fight. Now purple team, they've already got Sivir, so they're maybe leaning to run some sort of split push comp. And, you know, banning out Kayle really helps prevent any counters to a split push comp. You know, Kayle, as we saw last game, can outpush a lot of people, so taking her out of the picture might be opening some different combinations to the purple team, and they might be able to pick some of their own split push. But right now, I have to say purple team, in order to win, they want to pick either split push or high mobility at this moment. And they do already have some high mobility. Sivir's ultimate gives everyone a movement speed buff. Elise has the repel, which allows her to jump in the air and land on any enemy she wants inside a circle. And Hecarim has got a lot of base movement speed along with 2 dashes or charges. And they go for Orianna, who is sort of in the middle. She's got some mobility if she decides to use her dissonance for speed boost. But mainly, I think that's still a pretty good pick, because Orianna, the thing about her is that she uses her ball to fight, so generally she's going to have a much better positioning than a lot of other mages would. In this case, that'll protect her a lot against some of the hard engage that blue team has, so still a fairly decent pick for the purple team. Now, this game is going to be very interesting, as if blue team gets off some of their engagements, then they're just going to flat out win some of these team fights. If they can land an Amumu ult followed up by, you know, why did I start to say Katarina? But followed by a Sona ult and then a Morgana ult and Cho'Gath knockup. There's just so much lockdown for the blue team. If they can land that first beautiful initiation, the team fight will certainly be theirs. But if they can't, the purple team does have quite a bit of outmaneuvering that they can do.
I really think if let me just reveal the summoners to the audience there. Those are the summoners we're going to see going into this game. I really do like a lot of these picks, and I think that if I had to pick a late game team fight victory, I'd have to give it to the blue team, just because they have the Sona ult, the Cho'Gath rupture, the Morgana, the Mumu. They have a lot of AoE and a lot of lockdown. Caitlyn, you know, doesn't really fit all that well into that, but she does have the Peacemaker, but she's not really an AD carry that you really attribute to a lot of AoE damage or a lot of burst damage. She's a very tactical, ranged, and really good kiting pick.
I actually would have liked to see someone like Varus. That would have complemented the team very well. Just even more lockdown. Varus's ult basically snares one person, and if it's basically putting a soul shackles on someone, and instead of stun, it's a snare, because
you tend to usually see Ezreal with a lot of AoE comps as well, because his ultimate just really synergizes really well. And just one more thing I wanted to say is I really do. Maybe the blue team does have that. You know, Salad Chicks might have that slight advantage in the early game, but Nerve, as we saw, I didn't see any Salad Chicks play because none of the games were on the stream, so it'd be really interesting to do that. But Nerve was playing incredibly well last week, so we'll have to see if they can continue to do that. And in all honesty, their Taric and Sivir, I think is going to be a fun lane. I can't wait to see that Taric and Sivir lane. The reason why is, one, I haven't seen Sivir in a while, and two, because Sivir's Boomerang, if that connects, does even more damage than a Peacemaker on a single target. And you know, Caitlyn's not going to be able to utilize her traps because Sivir's just going to be able to spell shield them all. Same thing with Sona ult. If Sivir's on the ball with those spell shields, it could negate a lot of that, and you know, a lot of that AoE that, you know, the blue team Salad Chicks is trying to throw out, and that cleanse is going to help as well. And the last comment I have to say about the purple team's comp is Orianna, definitely a lot more late game damage than Morgana.
Definitely, I would have to say that. And if you can position Orianna correctly, she's also got more lockdown potential than Morgana. Now, Morgana is a champ that basically you run into a fight, press your ultimate. If it's late game, you really kind of have to Zhonya's, or else people are going to push you away, focus you, or do whatever. So she's going to be generally staying in the same spot, whereas Orianna's ultimate is just a much more instant lockdown, and that'll also combo pretty well with someone like Tarek, who can basically lower everyone's armor at the same time if he gets his Shatter off right next to where Orianna ulted, so that's a very strong pick as well. One thing I would like to note is actually Cho'Gath did pick up Teleport. Now, one thing I always like to say, and you guys are probably a little bit sick of this by now, but I always like to say, you know, Cho'Gath in doing that is giving up one of his offensive summoner spells, or possibly defensive, because Exhaust does both offense and defense. But he's giving that up, so in his individual lane, he's not going to be able to secure kills as well as Elise would, so he's really going to have to make some action happen with that teleport, you know, get some ganks down, get some nice jungle invades down, in order to make up what he lost by giving up that summoner spell.
Before we get out of this screen, I would like to just make a note that, look at the skins. We have so many skins in this game. However, Morgana, is that a Morgana skin, or is that just her new art? I'm not really sure.
It's just her new art.
Yeah, I'm, skin advantage,
Morgana.
So close, but we almost had a 5-skin game right here.
Yeah, 10-skin game anyway.
Oh, thank you. But,
Count.
Bloodstone Tarek, very, very cool. Tarek, that is Tarek, what Tarek looks like after he went through puberty. He turned from Pink Tarek to Bloodstone, but Pink Tarek's still the best Tarek. I gotta agree with that.
It is. I like Pink Tarek. In my personal opinion, I think Bloodstone Tarek is just Tarek trying to act badass.
He's just like we're badasses.
Exactly. Alright, so getting right into the game, let me arrange some of the
I think
stuff.
Orianna might either made a mistake here or is actually just bought two of the mana regen items. Not sure if that's a mistake and she just rolled with it, or it's not a mistake.
It's certainly not a mistake. Now, with that, Orianna is a very spammy champion, and let's just organize our champion lineups at the bottom. Just make sure we got those lined up. But Orianna is a very mana-heavy champion. She's going to be spamming that a lot. That'll give her a lot of regen, and the fact that she's got 2 of them means she's going straight for Tear of the Goddess and a Chalice. I can guarantee you that she will get those 2 items, and she'll get those 2 items soon, because a Fairy Charm goes into both of those items, and they're both extremely good items for Orianna to have, just making sure that she can spam her spells. And she can do a lot of that because she's got some really short cooldowns. Command Attack has only got a 5-second cooldown, and it's only level 1. So she's going to be spamming a lot of them.
I really think we might see a level 1 engagement here. Both teams incredibly strong level 1s, I have to say. Sona with the early burst damage, it looks like she might have, yes, she does have her passive charged up, ready to go. Caitlyn, of course, if she does take that tilt over Peacemaker, and Morgana with her binding, they're all going to just do a lot of damage. Tarek does have that stun, as well as Sivir if she did take her boomerang. There's going to be a lot of early game damage coming out, and it looks like there is going to be the engage. They're going to do a TSM style invade here. I'm really excited to see this happen. Looks like, oh, they will spot it. They will get spotted. Morgana does get stunned. Will the binding hit Tarek? Yes, he does get hit right here. Amumu instantly leveling up his bandage. Oh, is he going to get taken down? They made sure to flash an auto attack just to make sure. And oh, Morgana dives to the tower. I'm not even sure if that flash was necessary. But regardless, first blood still did go to the blue team, did go to Salad Chicks.
Wow.
And that is going to be the blue buff.
I was going to say...
wait a minute. Here comes Hecarim. And never mind, continue what you're saying.
I was going to say the red team had a pretty good idea. Tarek was basically saying, alright, I'm going to stun Morgana as soon as she gets close so that she isn't able to binding some of the rest of my team. But he also... I would have really liked to see him, instead of flash over the wall, I would have liked to see him flash out of the binding, out of the rupture, because that's really what secured his fate there, just using the flash a little bit too late, and that's what gave up the first blood there. So in this matchup, definitely... Oh, Sivir actually got the kill onto Morgana. That's going to help her out a lot. She's gotten Doran's Blade and Boots. So, you know, that's a bit more even than I thought it would be, even though Morgana got that early
no potions, though. I would like to point that out. She still does have no potions, so if she wins these trades, it's going to be very, very good for her. She's going to easily be able to win the trades.
she does have Tarek, so that's going to give her a little bit of sustain. Tarek's really just going to have to be careful and manage his mana pretty well in order to do that, and Sivir has her own job to help Tarek out with that by trying just not to get hit as much as she normally would, so that's going to be a very interesting
see an invade here by Hecker, and Amumu getting taken down really low, and he does spot the ghost. He really wants this retribution, misses the Q, and he's not going to be able to follow that up. He Q'd just a little bit too early there.
Wow, Amumu, that was a great play by Amumu too, just saying, alright, Hecarim already used most of his spells.
He's able to blow his summoners.
He's only level 2, he doesn't actually have his charge yet. That way I can escape, I don't need to pop Flash, and he didn't pop Flash. That is extremely important, because the next time Hecarim catches him out, he has that Flash to use.
And Hecarim no longer has Ghost.
And yeah, Hecarim no longer has Ghost either, so I really like that play by Amumu there, and just, even though he got invaded, that's going to slow down his jungle a little bit. He really just debilitated Hecarim with that play. Hecarim gave up some of his own jungling speed to do that invade. He also gave up a ghost, so very nice play.
Agreed, and Cho'Gath being bullied up a lot on the top lane by Elise, but his passive is just going to let him sit there forever, especially because Elise is just pushing. Bot lane here, let's look at the CS real quick, still pretty even. Sivir does have an early kill, and that's really good. She is going to be able to win trades, especially because she does have that Tarek. And Sona, not a very tanky champion. They did nerf her, tankiness a while back. They nerfed her armor, so she is a little bit more viable to that, just early game getting bursted down.
Yeah, that blue team bot lane is really going to have to be careful right now. If they step too close to Tarek, then you have the Dazzle stun, you have Shatter, and then a Boomerang Blade to follow up, and that's going to be a lot of damage because Boomerang Blade is...
Looks like Elise might be in trouble here, but Cho'Gath is taken really low. Cho'Gath will get taken down. Amumu misses the bandage toss, ends up throwing it the other way, and he does get stunned. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to follow this up here. I think Elise will be able to just get to that tower. Yeah. Cho'Gath fell just a little too fast, and that bandage toss, I would have liked to see it come out earlier, right when the fight started, because then Cho'Gath would have, that would have just stalled the fight, letting Cho'Gath's cooldowns come up, and just, just all around maybe saving Cho'Gath.
The reason he didn't use that bandage toss earlier, and this is something I really hate about Elise, is that she does have little spiders around her, and if you bandage toss towards her and a spider's in the way, you're going to hit the spider instead of her. So that's something that's really annoying about Elise, which basically allowed that to happen and prevented Amumu from using that stun so early. Not only that, but Amumu's attention was drawn top. Hecarim stole the red buff, and he's looking for a gank bot.
And here comes Hecarim Pony charging in, and looks like he's just going to put some damage down. Realizes that, hey, they're under the tower. We're not going to be able to make this happen.
Not quite as much as I thought would happen. He just misaimed the dash maybe a little bit because he pushed Sona a little bit farther away from Sivir. He would have liked to, push onto the left side of Sona so that she would get pushed to the right a little bit, but that wasn't able to happen. So now Amumu's just bot lane. He was preparing to see something if something were to break out, but he's just going back into his own jungle, and Raram Joe is doing a pretty good job of counter-jungling Amumu and making sure that he doesn't get ahead in the early game, because a mid-game Amumu that's ahead is really something you don't want to deal with.
Very true. Again, Elise just bullying Cho'Gath, but as long as Elise keeps pushing, Cho'Gath does have that passive. He's not going to have to leave, and Tarek just so tanky, and Caitlyn doesn't have a lot of damage. Other than the passive, the stun does go down on Morgana or Orianna. My bad. She's taking a lot of damage. Will the Ignite end up killing her? No, the Ignite's not going to kill her. And there were 2 flashes blown. And Amumu will just get caught by that Orianna ult. It's just overextending a little bit there for Salad Chicks. And now Sona's taking a lot of damage. Sivir choosing to back out, though, as Caitlyn is full health. Did not want to engage on that fully.
Wow, Orianna, just amazing play right there. Just barely getting out of that. And one thing it's brought up in chat, but I saw this myself, and it was really weird, and I think that it was actually a debilitating bug in that fight, because I didn't actually see Morgana's Soul Shackles get the second proc.
I don't
didn't see
believe
a
I did
stun go out.
either.
I didn't see damage. And that's all even brought up in-game. I think that if that damage would have gone through, then Orianna would have definitely died, but that's just so unfortunate, because it's a bug. There's nothing either team could have done about that. And I was keeping my eye on that the entire time. Orianna was definitely not far enough away to break that bond.
No, definitely. I was wondering that myself. But looks like Pony is coming in this time, and he will be able to knock back Caitlyn. Caitlyn does use that and that, but the red buff is going to continue to slow her. And Rarheim Joe will pick up that kill. Very nice little engagement down there. And yeah, back to what you were saying, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, more than just giving up a kill, that it also broke some of the momentum.
Looks like, hang on, Cho'Gath here is going to be taken down by Elise. Not even really much contesting over there. Elise very strong right now.
Yeah, as I was just saying, that didn't only give up a kill for the blue team and get a kill for the red team, that also broke some momentum, because how would you be feeling if you would have secured a kill, but your ability glitched out?
You know?
I'm sure you wouldn't be, alright, that's completely fine, let's just do this again. You're going to be feeling pretty bad about that.
Definitely, definitely. And it looks like Elise might be in trouble here. Mumu does get stunned. Cho'Gath's Rupture will be up here in a few seconds, though, but he does end up missing that. Cho'Gath's Stomp going down, but it's not quite enough. Elise will escape under that tower with barely any health.
Meanwhile, bot lane, red team is about to take a dragon, and there's nothing blue team can do about it. It's 2v4, basically, even if Caitlyn were to come up. And, Caitlyn doing what I think she should have, basically sitting back and farming. There's 4 enemies there. There's nothing you can really do about that. Trying to contest that would have been futile, would have given up a double kill. So Caitlyn just saying, alright, I can make the most out of this and just farm. So far already a 3.3 gold lead for the red team, and they do have a few early kills. Blue team, what they really need to do is they need to make it to the mid game, make it to the late game, so that they can use some of their amazing teamfight potential that they have. Right now, red team is just trying to put them behind as soon as they can, and they're doing a good job of it. If red team can keep this up, then they'll be too far ahead by mid game and late game to really be affected by the blue team's comp.
Sivir barely missing a boomerang bot lane there. I was just watching, and not really much actioning happen right now. I think Morgana might be a little hesitant to start again, and very nice ult and the flash, getting her away to safety, but Caitlyn might be in trouble here now. It looks like they are going to dive the tower. Taric has a lot of armor, and oh, the flash out of the boomerang! Couldn't have been timed better. That was particles away from hitting. I thought that was going to hit. That was a brilliant flash by Caitlyn.
I was thinking the same thing. Oh my god, that flash. Just so clutch right there. And Amumu's on his way down, so let's see if he can make any action happen.
Yeah, we see Amumu run in here. No, we're watching Morgana. There's Amumu. And he's going to miss the bandage toss, though, so he's just going to back out.
If he'd have landed that bandage toss, he would have followed up with his ult, and that might just be enough for the blue team to follow up with that. Although, they really need to be careful about that gank, because a red team could have easily turned that around and killed either Caitlyn or Sona, both of which are extremely squishy right now. Sona's just innately squishy, and Caitlyn doesn't actually have any Doran's blades, so she doesn't have any health herself. So both of them being really squishy, they're just trying to go into the late game, mid to late game, and that reflects what their champions are made to do. Their champions are made to teamfight, so they don't want to necessarily overpower the enemy's early game. They want to get to the mid to late game as soon as possible.
Morgana does get stunned here. Hecarim gets separated from his team. Unfortunately, he will ghost, and they will miss their skill shots anyway. Hecarim goes in and ult, seeing that the bot lane is back. Morgana's ult does go off this time. Will it actually work? Yes, it works this time. Morgana must be cheering in her head. Amumu looks like he's in trouble now. Getting dove on the tower, but getting the stun. Hecarim will not get taken down by that tower, though. But they will take down Sivir, as Sivir was running away, so that will be a 2-for-2, well actually 2-for-1, but Cho'Gath getting taken down by Elise. Again, Elise just pulling him out. Cho'Gath's build just building straight MRs. You can see he has 2 null magics. He just wants to, you know, get back in this game as much as he can. He's almost half his CS, half the CS of Elise. Elise looking really strong right now, and right, you know, very rightly so. She's a very strong champion.
Yeah, at this point, Cho'Gath is basically saying, alright, there's not really a chance for me to come back into this, come back in the laning phase. I'm gonna have to make action happen mid to late game. So he's basically foregoing all sort of damage items and going for straight up survivability.
Oh, will we see? Oh, that might have been a bad play by Orianna, and very nice roam by Cho'Gath. Morgana
Nice
still
finding,
picking
too.
up that kill, but very, very well played. Orianna getting a little bit too cocky there, because they are in the lead by quite a few gold, but as you know, shutdowns are really crucial. They're going to give a lot of gold, especially to Morgana getting that kill. She's going to need the extra gold, and as you can see, she does pick up that needlessly large rod that is going to increase her damage, but, you know, pretty much threefold.
Basically, the blue team really, who they want to shut down is certainly Elise. Elise has already got her Haunting Guise and a Giant's Belt, so she's going for a lot of penetration, which is basically what Elises do. You go for a lot of penetration, and you also go for some tankiness. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Amumu looks like he's trying to make something happen, but the ward will spot him, and the red team's just going to back out.
As you can see here real quick, the bot lane ward coverage for this red team is just really good. Look at that. They have this whole jungle for the purple team. They're just trying to protect their bot lane, make it so if Amumu's coming, if Morgana's coming, they're going to know, because they don't want a fight like that happening again.
Yeah, definitely. If once again, if blue team can get some of their lockdown, AoE lockdown down, then they can win a fight. Like we just saw, they pretty much won that fight. Unfortunately, Amumu getting caught under the tower by Hecarim, but for the most part, if they were to fight that normally, they would have been able to win. Cho'Gath getting chased down in his own jungle by Elise. Elise just backing off. He knows that Morgana's MIA, she might be coming to try to help.
Amumu could be in trouble here. Surrounded by 3 members. Will he be able to flash over this wall? No, he won't. And here comes a teleport by Cho'Gath, but it was, you know, was pretty much for nothing. That's a burn summoner. And like you were saying earlier, it's no offensive summoner. And Hecarim does dive in here. He's getting a little bit too far away from his team. Sona taking a lot of damage though. And oh, looks like Sona might be taken down here. Yes, one more auto attack. Orianna does come in though, and Caitlyn gets picked up as well, transferring a double buff, so that's pretty big. And very nice spell shield by Sivir.
Spell shield. One thing I think should have happened in that fight, right when Amumu got caught out, right before, a little bit before he was about to die, you know, he should have known anyway. I think Cho'Gath would have called to his teammates, alright, I'm teleporting down. What he should have done is right before he died, popped his ultimate, flashed back over that wall, and let Cho'Gath do some of his own CC while Sona and Caitlyn get into the fight, and then Sona follows up with her ultimate. And you know, Amumu might have been able to bandage toss back into the fight and make some action happen, but right there I didn't see either of those things happen, and both his ultimate and his flash were up, so I'm a little bit wondering why he didn't actually do that. But Elise, still 3-0, she's just doing so much damage to Cho'Gath right now, almost taking him down under the tower.
Taking him, getting so much damage under the tower, at least flashing after him. Morgana is close by, but not going to be able to save Cho'Gath. Let's see if he can pick up a kill. Probably not here. It looks like there will be the ult, but the ult will go off, and the ult stays on Elise even when she's jumping up. That I did not know. You learn something new every day.
You know, I don't think she would have been stunned if she was in the air while the second proc went off, so just a little bit mistimed right there. So unfortunate. I really thought the Soul Shackles would have gone off before she came back down, but you know, it happened in the same second, so very, very clutch right there, and we have some contestant over Dragon.
And it looks like Hecarim ulting in, catching out the bot lane, but Amumu ult freezing all 4 members. Very nicely played, but oh, that shockwave doing very well, and it looks like blue team does not want to fight this. They are being taken really low. Sivir looks really strong right now, but oh, almost getting caught by that binding. Barely out of range. Now it looks like Caitlyn could be in trouble, but the knockup comes in from Cho'Gath. Orianna is silenced and taking a lot of damage. She does get chomped, but here comes Hecarim right into the middle of the fight and does take down that Sona. And there is the snipe. Sivir gets taken down by Caitlyn's ult. Right in Sivir's hole goes that ace.
Wow,
And
that was a
that was
pretty amazing fight.
It was a very, very intense fight. And one thing I wanted to note before that fight started, but that fight, you know, kind of took my attention away. It was very, very well played. But Morgana's little pool, her what is that ability called? Like her desecrated
Tormented
ground.
soil.
Tormented soil. Thank you. Her tormented soil actually lowers magic resist. So one thing you'll see a lot of high-level Morgana players do, and you've seen this Morgana player do it a lot, is she uses her pool and then opts to shoot her binding second because it does more damage. Because their magic resist is lowered while they're in the pool.
Yeah, and in doing that, you're also sort of gambling a little bit, saying, alright, I'm pretty confident that I can land this next binding, because if you don't land the binding, then you're only getting less than 100 damage
very
off
true,
on
and
the
very nice bandage shots coming out by Amumu. Elise might get taken down here. Amumu's not that tanky, though, taking a lot of damage. Elise turning into spider form and dodging Cho'Gath's Rupture. Cho'Gath, again, not having much damage. So, will he be able to kill Elise?
Oh.
So close from death! The Rupture will hit! She'll walk right into the Rupture! Cho'Gath was stunned, and she looked like she was going to get away there. But very well-placed Rupture, and Elise just walking right into it, thinking that she was in the clear by hitting that stun. Very, very, very good play by Cho'Gath there, and Amumu.
I definitely think that blue team can still come back into this. They've been winning a few of their fights recently. They just need to keep their positioning up, make sure they get their abilities off. They can't. I don't think they can fight this without the Amumu here with his ultimate. His ultimate's about to come back up, and that would be pretty much every ultimate except Cho'Gath's. And Cho'Gath's ultimate isn't really even a lockdown, so they don't necessarily need it.
Sona
getting
does
caught out.
face check, but they do have more members of the blue team there.
All right,
Again,
blue team
look at the wording for the red team right here. Or, that's the blue team. For the red team, they pretty much have the whole jungle covered. They can see 4 members of the blue team. Going back to all chat, though, is there could be a fight here. Sivir does spell shield that. And Hecarim might have overstayed his welcome here. He is the only one stuck in the lane here. Will Cho'Gath get him? And looks like Morgana does go in for the stun. Caitlyn is hammering away at Taric. Only Taric will get stunned. And as you can see, the pool and the binding. Morgana taking a lot of damage, though, but does end up using that Zanya's. Amumu catching all 3 of them with the ult, and the Rupture getting 2 of them up. Orianna not getting silenced, but Sona ult does stun her, and Cho'Gath gets a double kill. Will Sivir be able to escape this one? I'm not sure. The bandage does go out, but, well, it looks like they're slowly gaining back in this game. They're behind so much gold, but I think maybe Nerve got too cocky, or maybe, you know, blue team's teamfight comp is actually starting to pay off. As you can see, they just CC, and CC will slowly whittling down, and you don't really need a lot of damage when your opponents just can't do anything. And the bandage toss goes out, does not stun, ace in the hole again, going to be picking up Sivir.
Yeah, I agree with what you were saying before, and it's kind of a little bit of both. Blue team's AoE comp starting to pay off, and red team just getting a little bit too cocky, because Hecarim just... He was running around in the enemy jungle the entire time. He wasn't really near his team, and Cho'Gath alone was able to zone him out long enough for the rest of his team to start winning a fight, and then Cho'Gath was just able to mobilize to where the rest of his allies were and continue to win that fight with his Rupture following up on the Curse of the Sad Mummy. So great turnarounds by the blue team, and they might start winning this game. Elise just trying to split push. She's starting to split push now. She knows that straight up team fights, red team might not be doing very well.
Very nice by Morgana, catching Orianna out there. Seeing
and nice
ward,
ward coverage too.
They are going to lose this blue buff here. And that is going to hurt. That is going to hurt because Morgana's stun really needs to be up for every fight, and Morgana, you know, she doesn't really do damage when her spells are on cooldown, where Orianna's cooldowns, even without blue buff, are fairly low. And oh my god, this is huge! Caitlyn might get caught out here, at least jumping on Caitlyn, trying to run away so fast, and it looks like she will get away, so the enemy team will be able to get in, but Sona gets taken down, everyone taking so much damage, and Morgana trying to stun as many people as she can. I'm not sure if she even got anyone. Now she's being taken low. Cho'Gath doesn't do a lot of damage, though. Ace in the hole, not going to even phase Elise, it looks like. Morgana will get taken down as well. This is definitely not a good fight. This is definitely a few steps backward for Salad Chicks.
Yeah, Salad Chicks just getting caught out that fight. Lucidity not quite knowing where the rest of the enemy team was, and they were just able to put down a lot of CC on her, take her out of the fight at the very beginning. And not only that, but blue team in that fight, they didn't have their ults up. The only one that was really up was Morgana's and Caitlyn's. Now Caitlyn is, once again, isn't really an AoE shutdown ability, so all they really had was the Morgana ultimate, which generally isn't enough to win a fight by itself. So for these next fights,
almost got taken down there again. Cho'Gath, look at his damage items. In fact, he doesn't have any. So Cho'Gath just not going to be able to help that much in team fights yet. Doesn't have a wit's end. Doesn't have any AP, but he might be able to take Taric. And yes, he ends up taking Taric. That scream going off as he flies backwards. Very nice pick off there by Cho'Gath.
I clicked on Orianna, and it looks like she's actually leveling Distortion last. I haven't seen this in a really long time, but an engagement.
Engagement coming out here. Hecarim going in, and very nice shockwaves from Orianna. Again, they might be in trouble here as Amumu does not have his... Oh, there it is. Never mind. I lied. But it looks like they will be able to disengage with minimal casualties, only the support going down. Amumu might be in trouble here. Elise is going to be able to gap close with that really, really good ability. And that is going to be a free tower in mid lane, bringing the tower lead to 3 for Nerve Gaming. Nerve might be making it into the finals again. Salad Chicks not going to be making it quite as far in the tournament this time.
That's very unfortunate, and we're seeing so many high-level matchups so soon. Both of these teams, veterans of the TowerDive Weekly, and they've both made some very, very nice names for themselves in this tournament. And it's just a shame that both of them have to face each other this early into the game, or this early into the tournament, although it is pretty exciting to watch, I have to say.
Yeah, just my thoughts exactly, but hopefully, the people who end up beating out the other teams are just as good as these guys, and we're going to see, just as good games.
Yep. Let's take a look at some more of the item builds right now. So Orianna, she's already gotten her tier, along with the Seeker's Arm Guard. Seeker's Arm Guard is a fairly new item. She's going to be building towards Azonia's with that. Interesting item, I have to say, on Orianna. And there's not really too much AD for the blue team, so I don't really know why she's exactly going for the Zhonya's Hourglass. She's generally, like I said before, she uses the ball to fight, so she's not really going to be in the middle of the team fights. She's not really going to have the biggest use for the Zhonya's, certainly not as much as Morgana's, where Zhonya's is pretty much core build. So I'm kind of questioning why she's building that right there. I think building just more AP, more Magic Pen, something like either a Void Staff, Abyssal, or Death Cap, something like that, would have benefited her a little bit more by giving her more damage, instead of using some of that gold cost on not only the armor, but also the active of Zhonya's. So interesting build item I see there, and Elise also getting a Zhonya's. That one makes a little bit more sense, because Elise's melee, a lot of her abilities require her to be close to the enemy, so generally she's going to be in the middle of a fight, and she's going to be able to Zhonya's to negate a lot of that damage. So a better item on her than it is on Orianna.
Very true, and it looks like there was almost an engagement right there, but it ended up not happening, and this might be a free inhibitor. It looks like the blue team wants to contest this. Will Amumu go in? Yes, there is the ult by Amumu. It was tried to cleanse, but there's so much CC. The shockwave negating a lot of that. Morgana wasn't even able to get in there and do her thing, and Amumu will fall as well. That might, be the end for Salad Chicks. Oh, Elise almost getting the Caitlyn, but her spiders, again, just tanking, doing a little trolling there. Looks like she wanted to try to bait the Caitlyn. Oh! Caitlyn picking up the Elise, but I think it's too late in the game. I believe the Nexus will fall right here. There he is.
That was fun.
That was pretty fun, yes, and that will be a win for Nerve Gaming. Nerve will move on. And
wow. I have to give MVP that game to Orianna. Just so many times we've seen Red Team win fights because she was able to land a very clutch shockwave. Even in that very last fight, Amumu got his ultimate down, Sona got hers, but ultimately they did group up, which is generally not what you want to do against Orianna, and Orianna was just able to use shockwave along with dissonance to do a lot of AoE damage of her her own. And I think in terms of the purple team to get off a lot of their CC without being grouped up, just come at different angles, Morgana being in the middle of a team, obviously, and so is Amumu. But Morgana is able to Zhonya's, so the Orianna ult wouldn't really be able to affect her if she gets that ult. And Sona, could basically be in the left side, Cho'Gath could be near the right, and Caitlyn could just be near the bottom, or probably near Cho'Gath for some peel, and staying at long range to get those fights down. They don't necessarily need to group up in order to get their CC down, and that's really where they went wrong in the last couple fights.
So it looks like the next in the bracket is going to be